Look, it is ridiculous. Celibacy has nothing to do with it. I have these wet dreams, the sex is burning inside of me. And why the hell am I denying myself? Why the hell am I torturing myself? So I asked my teacher, are you sure that you don't have wet dreams? And any time he blushed and he didn't have the courage to give me the...
Could he still be your teacher after that?
No, I rejected. You see, that as is a prerequisite or a necessary thing for... That did not mean that I moved to the other extreme and practiced promiscuity as my way of life. I was surrounded by the most beautiful girls during the war, from Holland, from America, everywhere. They were all stuck there. I didn't even have to ask for it. But then you see, I said, this is not the way to understand the problem of sex. And so this was the only relationship I had. She understood, but yet you see the idea of love, this, that and the other, and build up and all that kind of a thing. And she always asked me, see, you are surrounded by most beautiful women here. You are a very handsome man by our definition. And why don't you have sex? Do you have a guilt problem or loyalty? Or why? She asked me always. You see, you are ready to talk in this train. Actually, if there is an act of infidelity, then the word on my part, the whole thing will change, I told her. I warned her. Don't talk of all this nonsense. It's a conversation piece, it is fine. It is not because of the moral problem or ethical problem or any such thing. But I wanted to find out, you see, I am actually using her for my pleasure. You see.
And you could be frank about that?
We always discuss this.
There's no love involved here?
No, she was the finest woman I had. We lost it for 21 years. Exceptional.
Most people would be offended if you say, I'm just interested in sex.
And she also realized that's all. But the only problem we had was children. She wanted more children because of her genes, both on my father's side and mother's side, a lot of children. And she was the 21st pregnancy of her mother. You see,
21st?
So, yes, my wife. And so, you see, that was a genetic problem, wanting more children, you see, and all that kind of a thing. That was the real problem between us. You see, we even went to see Mary Stopes in London. You may have heard of her. Yeah.
To sort it out.
To find out. And also she was against, birth control things and all that kind of thing. She tried all kinds of things. And she was telling me that by nursing the child for a longer time, the pregnancy would be delayed. So all kinds of strange ideas. But she was not ready to go to a doctor to finish with the abortion for some reason or the other. But somewhere along the line, she had to have an abortion because we didn't want to have lots of children. But apart from that, and I did have one, what is that stand, midnight stand? One night stand. Not, I was telling yesterday, it was not a cheap call girl or a prostitute or any such thing, one of the richest women. And that finished. No more sex after that. You will be surprised. That
was still during the relationship with your wife?
Yes.
And that finished
it just so happened to me. See, that I happened to be in this woman's place, and I don't want to go into all the sordid details. But anyway, that's not important. That was 33 years ago, I think. 33 years ago. Finished.
And that was it?
That was the end of sex for me, you see. So I am using that woman, you see, for my own pleasure. So it was not an ethical problem, or it hit me so hard that I used that woman. She may be a willing victim, willing partner in this whole game, but I cannot do that anymore, you see. That was the end of it. And it created a problem for her also, in the sense, not that she revolted or any such thing. I denied sex to her also.
She felt rejected.
She was rejected, you see, and yet she felt guilty for pushing me to she did not push me into that situation. But you see, finished. But that did not finish the sex at all, in the sense that there is a natural rhythm, you see, even in men. It's like I was able to study, there is a peak there, and for months and months and months you don't even know, you see. see, that...
and it has to do with hormones as well?
It is hormone, like the woman is, there is a period, you see, like that. And it is impossible for, you see, woman and man to have this same thing at the same time. We are programmed differently. Yes, if that could be synthesized, that would be a marvelous thing. Yeah, but there is no way you can do that at all. So but it did, until this, whatever happened to me, it continued, but with the powerful drive, you see, it was still there. And I knew that the semen would go through, the urine or some such thing. But it didn't bother me because I was determined to find out and solve this problem, you see, for myself. You know, I did not go to a therapist. I never believed in any therapist or any such thing, you see. So it resolved off and by itself that it's not really a burning problem. It should not be, you see, blown up into out of proportions. It has a place, a very simple functioning of the body. That's all. Its interest is only to create. And so like that I discovered these things by myself, you know. I give you another. We were about to make love, and my 2-year-old girl cried. And we had to break up, and you can't imagine what violent feelings I had at that time. So I just wanted to strangle that child. Strangle that child. I did not actually, I would have done that. That was the frame of mind. And suddenly I said to myself, that's blood of your own blood, to use an idiotic phrase, bone of your own child. And how can you have such thoughts? You see, so something wrong here. You see, you are not a spiritual man. You are not what you think that you are and what people think you are. I was lecturing on the theosophical platforms everywhere. You are, you see, this is you.
This is what you are. Yeah?
This is
with
what
all this violence.
All this violence, you know. So that is why the sex is violence, in the sense that that is a necessary violence for this body, you know. It's pain.
As far as procreation.
And procreation is, all creative things are painful. The birth of a child is a very natural thing, but to call it a traumatic experience and build up a tremendous structure of theories is too silly as far as I'm concerned. But it cannot be a traumatic experience there also. This is that is why you say after all this violence you go to sleep, you know, tired, you see. So that is the nature's, all creation in nature is I wouldn't call it pain or violence. The volcanic eruption, the earthquakes, and then the storms, the rivers overflowing, all this is part of nature. You cannot tell that there is chaos only, that there is no order, chaos and order happening almost at the same time. The birth and death is a simultaneous process. I'm talking much too much now. Come on, go ahead, and in the light of what I have said, whatever questions you want to ask. I'm not against promiscuity. I'm not against celibacy, but I want to emphasize one basic thing, that if you are interested in pursuing your spiritual matters, whether you practice celibacy or indulgent sex and call it tantric sex, it doesn't really make any difference. It's comforting for us to believe that this is a tantric sex and you are not having sex with a call girl, with a prostitute, or with any woman.
Sounds better if you call it tantric.
Tantric sex, you see. And the feeling is more, there is more closeness, all that is absolute gibberish. It's where they are killing themselves and killing others. I am nothing against that. You see, you run a brothel because there is a demand for it. Call it a fucking club, I'm sorry to use that word, and or a tantric center, it really doesn't matter. That's in demand, you see, but the people now, there are so many people who are doing this kind of a thing, you see, in the name of enlightenment. That is detestable to me. They are not honest enough to admit that they are using that, they are running brothels and they are all pimps. Sorry.
Yeah.
The gurus are pimps.
Yeah, Mr. Russians became famous for that.
Yeah, that's why somebody asked me, what do you have to say after his death? I say, the world has not seen such a pimp, or will ever see such a pimp in the future. You know.
He was very good at it. I mean, very professional.
Yeah, professional. He combined the Western therapies, the tantric system, you see, everything that you could find in the box. He made a big business out of it, you know. Because, you see, he took money from the boys, he took money from the girls and kept it for himself.
And he took the girls as well.
Yes, you see. And so, he's dead, so we don't say anything. Nil nisi bono.
But if we can go back
No,
to
go back. What I want to say is that unfortunately the society, culture, or whatever you want to call it, has separated that activity and put it on a different level other than, you see, treating it as the functioning of the living organism. And that's the basic thing, because the survival and reproduction is the basic thing that is there in the living organisms. That's all.
And the rest is artificial build-up.
You can change
Put into
theories,
by
you
the
can
culture.
change ideas, you can write books, and you know, it really doesn't matter to me as far as I'm concerned. So I don't tell anybody what they should do or what they should not do. My interest is to point out this is the situation, take it or leave it.
But without the build-up, without the culture, without thought, there would still be sexual functioning of the body, but there wouldn't be anyone to make a problem out of that.
No problem.
The body would react and it
Anything
would go
we
away.
touch, we turn that into a problem. And it is more so because this is the most powerful drive there, for its own reasons. And if you translate that and push it into an area where it really doesn't belong, the pleasure movement, we create problems. And once you create a problem, the demand to deal with these problems within that framework are bound to be there. So that is where you come, sex therapist. See? So I have nothing against a sex therapist, because that problem has to be solved by them. Otherwise they become neurotic, they don't know what to do with themselves. And that's all there is to it. But not only that, see, everything, see, the God, truth, reality, liberation, moksha is the ultimate pleasure. We are not ready to accept that.
But sex is very concrete and
Very
moksha is more of a
concrete.
concept.
Concrete, you see, this is tangible. So that is why it has become a very, very powerful factor in our lives, and also the demand for the culture to put it is in its, to put these limitations on it. First in the name of religion, now again in the name of family, the
name of law.
Law, you see, this is nothing but a warty outgrowth of the religious thinking of man. What's the difference?
And all these laws don't help anyway, because the drive just goes on.
Goes on. You see, what is so? You talk of sacredness of life, and you condemn abortion there. You see, the same old idiotic Christian ideas persisting there, and turn every woman, you see, into a criminal, and you go and kill hundreds and thousands of people there in the name of your flag, in the name of your patriotism. That's the way the things are. So, not that it is of your interest to change, you know, but the change is something which this structure is not interested in. Talks of change, but the things are changing constantly, you know. Now, I have given the talk.
I
don't know if it makes any sense to you.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard you say once that this artificial build-up of sexual excitement is actually damaging for the body, whereas a lot of people think it's like healthy because tension is getting out and you're more relaxed.
You create first attention.
Yeah.
All this build-up, all this romantic nonsense is a build-up there, building up of tension. So when once the tension is built, you say it has to dissolve itself. So that is why the rest becomes, you go to sleep. You see, you fall asleep, you are tired, exhausted. So that is all that is there. It creates a tension, build up a tension, and then you see the after effects of that. You see, you know. So that's fine. You see, play the game, and it is wearing you out in the long run. You see.
Could you comment on the different behaviors as far as sex is concerned between men and women?
I don't
That's
see.
a rather big issue in the West nowadays.
You mean this feminist movements?
Well, not only that.
It's a joke.
In my work, I'm also
It is
concerned.
really, yes, sorry.
I'm also concerned with sexual violence and men having sex with women, children against their will, and all the damage they do to the children. And you hardly see that sort of physical sexual violence in women. So there's this discussion, what is this, that a lot of men are being, more than women, being able to objectify and use children and women in that way.
That is a sociological problem, I think, you see. You know, I don't know, I can't say much on that, but it is really unfortunate that man got away with everything for centuries. And this society ignored women, half the population on this planet. See, were neglected, eliminated, and treated as doormats. Even the Bible's story tells you that woman is made out of the rib of a man. What preposterous nonsense it is. You see, their intelligence is lost for this culture. It is the same everywhere, not only here.
So where does this arise from? That from time immemorial, this situation
The
has
other
been
party also, you see, the responsible for that. You see, you are praising woman as a darling, you see, and she accepted that minor role. Woman is also to be blamed for that kind of a thing. I am not over enthusiastic about all these the feminist movements today. See, this is a revolt that really has no basis for that. It's a reaction.
You mean both parties are responsible?
Are responsible.
For the situation?
Responsible for one. I say this very often. One of the leaders of the feminist movement visited me and asked me some questions. You see, what do you have to say on this? I say, I am on your side. But you have to realize one very fundamental thing. As long as you depend upon the man for your sexual needs, so long you are not a free person.
That's very true.
No, you are not a free person. Now, if you use a vibrator for your sexual satisfaction, that's a different. You are very crude. You are.
No.
I'm not crude. This is a fact. You see. So, as long as you depend upon that, see, then the exploitation begins.
It still goes on.
Goes on and on and on. So I'm not against these feminist movements. They have to have every right. Even today, in the same job, a woman is paid less in the United States than a man. Why? So we got away with this kind of a thing, you know.
And that is culture, of course.
That is culture.
But it must have started somewhere.
But where is the guarantee that a woman is... there was a time when I believed that if women were to rule this world, it would be a different story.
Wouldn't it?
Has it been? You had a prime minister in India, you had a prime minister in Ceylon, you have a prime minister in England, and one of these days probably, I don't see that kind of a thing will happen in America. A woman will be the president of the United States. They are as ruthless as any other person. More ruthless. More ruthless. And so this dream of mine, this pious thought of mine was shattered when I saw that woman there in Jerusalem. What was her name?
Golda Meir.
Golda Meir or Indira Gandhi in India, and I don't even remember now. Madame Thatcher. Oh boy, oh boy. That's it. No, I'm not, but still there's nothing to choose between.
No.
So it is not a question of a man running that show or a woman running the show, but it is the system that corrupts them. That's all.
But there wouldn't be any inherent differences between men and women. I mean, this tendency of men to dominate anywhere and at any time.
That is, you see, the power game is part of the culture. See, it is power.
There's no biology involved?
Now they are talking of hormones. I really don't know. They say that The hormones that are responsible for the violence. If that is so,
Well, we need
what do we
hormones
do? Assuming for a moment that it is not, you see, a culturally instigated thing or the advantage that we have had for centuries, but if it is a hormonal problem, you have to deal with that in a different way, not put that person on a couch and analyze, and your mother was responsible, your great-grandmother was responsible for your problems. That to me is too absurd and too silly. So we have to find out some ways. You see, the basic question which we have to ask for ourselves is, what kind of a human being you want? You want to be, or the culture wants to create? You know, that's the basic thing. So unfortunately, we have placed before ourselves the model of a perfect being. Perfect being is the God man or a spiritual man or an avatar or something like that. But forcing everybody to fit into that mold is the cause of our tragedy. It is just not possible for us to be, all of us to be like that.
But it's so tempting, isn't it? I mean, because there seem to be these
When I look at that, you see the crown there, the scepter and crown. The church, the pontiffs had that, and they all worshipped, and the kings revolted against that, and then the royal family we admire and worship today, and where they have eliminated the royalty and created the presidents, and you should not insult the head of the state. Until yesterday he was your neighbor and he becomes the president of your republic. Why do you have to worship him as? You see, the whole hierarchical structure is exactly the same.
And there seems to be a need in a person to seek for something which he thinks is higher.
That is what we would like to be. You see, that is why we admire, we worship. The whole hierarchical structure is built on that foundation. One day, it's all right now, the politicians you can forget, and the monarchy you can forget, the church you can forget, but a tennis player, you see, a top tennis player is the hero for the tennis players, you know, and a movie star, see,
and in certain circles.
That is a model for us, you see, and the culture is responsible for that. It's not only the physiological differences, if there are any, hormonal differences, if there are any, I don't know, I wouldn't know, but the whole commercialism is geared to that. You walk into any stores there, you see any commercial you watch on the television, always telling them, you see, how they should dress themselves, how should they, you see, beautify themselves. So the beauty of a woman depends upon the ideas of Ellen Rubinstein or Elizabeth Arden or somebody else. They are telling you, see, now half the stores is cosmetics for men.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not condemning it. You see, that's our way of life. So he is what kind of clothes you should wear, what colors should match what colors. He is telling us all the time. So I'm influenced by what he's telling.